Doom had the impossible task of meeting expectations of Doom. Hang on a sec. As I've said before, Doom was my inspiration for getting a college degree in software, which was a slow burn because I played this back in 5th grade. And how? What was the spark of inspiration? It's because in the span of 18 months, we went from Wolfenstein 3D to Doom. As a kid, I was dumbfounded. How did they do this?
Alright, you know how it goes, so sing along with me. Ah, the 4 pillars, that window to the right, sweet memories. This feeling of playing Doom never gets old. I guess it really speaks to how we want our first-person shooters to be made. Fast, and shooting everything in sight. It's also me speaking with a head full of nostalgia. The core of Doom is brute force. The answer to a demonic presence is not the power of Christ. Nah, it's shotguns and chainsaws and a big friendly giant 9000. When the forces of hell are unleashed on Phobos, you, the sole surviving space marine, begins a death march straight into hell, killing every demon along the way. And it's a blast to play. I suppose you could classify Doom as a zombie shooter because, yeah, zombie shooting. But understand the difference. This is not, I can't shoot my own dad. This is, I'm gonna go kill the one who signs your checks. Move. And in 1993, we had different social constructs. It wasn't yet cool to be a zombie. I suppose I can't go any further talking about Doom. I profess my love for it over and over. It's a well-known fact. Let me make a note here. I'm playing this on the PC, which could be seen as a rarity for me. Most of this show is console games, since at my core, I am a console gamer. You wanna know how I became a console gamer? It was Doom. Doom was the game that spat in my face and said, "Not enough memory! Now eat shit and tell me you like it!" In 1994, my family upgraded from a Tandy computer to a Packard Bell with Windows 3.11 and a 386 processor. Yeesh! My dad bought a shareware game box for $10 at Walmart. This is how we played Wolfenstein 3D. It also had Wizardry 8, I think it was. That was fun. And Doom, which we were doomed to not play. Doom wouldn't even try to start because we lacked the required megabytes of free RAM. Not even kicking up virtual memory worked. Somehow, it knew. So, as a young child, I was never able to taste the sweet, sweet nectar of Doom. That only came years later. Okay, enough dicking around. I know you came here for a more recent Doom game. Doom for the Super Nintendo. It was released 2 years later. Oh my god, the lag! Just look at this! What? This is nearly unplayable. And the graphics? Ugh, this is a mess of pixels. I suppose that's what you get with the Super Nintendo frame buffer. Man, with the cuts made, we should be surprised this game ever hit store shelves. We have all the weapons, all the enemies. 3 episodes, as this was before the Ultimate Doom. Knee Deep in the Dead lost a level. On the Shores of Hell lost about half the levels. Surprisingly, the towering Cyber Demon is here. I didn't care to check for the Spider Mastermind or Inferno at all because I recall Gates Limbo has a damaging red floor labyrinth. And I'm not doing that with this controller lag. The 5 difficulties are intact, but in a quite baffling design decision. If you want to play episode 2, you have to start at least Hurt Me Plenty. And if you want to jump to episode 3, Ultra Violence. The frequently dropped inputs, floors and ceilings have no texture, the shotgun blast doesn't scatter, the death sound of a lost soul is Doom Guy grunting. The flaws of Super Nintendo Doom moved out of the action genre and swiftly into horror. Because this is horrible. Get it? I researched this version online for its history and cheats and found that it's actually compatible with the Super Nintendo mouse. And that sparked a memory. Hey, I have the Super Nintendo mouse, and the mouse pad, and Mario Paint. I got it for real cheap at GameQuest, a used game store in Bend, Oregon. A mouse should be fun. What? To be fair, I didn't know what to expect with a console and a mouse. Alright, back to the internet so I can read the original manual and see how to properly— Oh, what the hell?! I saw the commercials for Super Nintendo Doom when I was 10, and this was during my era of no Doom and no Super Nintendo. I asked my brother, if you put Doom in a Super Nintendo, it would just work, right? He replied with, yes, that's what a console does. This conversation took place while we were doing yard work. Of course we were doing yard work. Doom wouldn't load, so there was nothing else to do. I bought Super Nintendo Doom when I was a starving college student. I got it for like $8 on eBay, which I'm almost certain I paid for with pop can money converted to a money order. When it arrived, I put it in my shoebox of games and discovered I already had a copy. This is odd. I thought really hard, trying to remember. How did I get this? Then suddenly, oh yeah! I stole it from a friend in high school. Completely forgot. Well, I guess all those senators were right. Doom led me to a life of crime. Okay, on to the main attraction. Doom for the Sega 32X. Wow, 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 wow. Music sounds a bit anemic. I thought 32 was greater than 16. Well, the graphics are better and the controls are more responsive, so we are closer to the original Doom. I'm starting to get some feeling back in my action bone. But the trade-off here is in the number of buttons we have. Look at this. Open, fire, run. Okay, we burned through all the buttons. To strafe, hold C. To change weapons, hold A and tap start. It gets the job done. The 32X Doom is functional and resembles proper Doom, but I beat it without a piss break. That's mostly in part to the absence of a third episode, or rather, third episode levels. Instead of choosing which section to start in, you play a steady stream of 16 levels, with the Phobos anomaly modified and the Tower of Babel completely replaced with this. So, no Cyber Demon or Spider Mastermind, the very mascots of classic Doom. Most disappointing. There is a 17th level. It's actually E1M9 accessed from E1M3, but with the Inferno background. So technically, by nerd interpretation, the secret level resides in Hell, and by beating it, you jump back to the human realm. A little bit of Doom 2016 up in here. A younger me once coveted the 32X. I caught a glimpse of it, with Doom inserted, as I was exiting that used game store in Bend. GameQuest. Go to GameQuest for all your gaming needs. They took a collect call from me once. As I gazed upon the system, I thought to myself, that's how I could play Doom. If only I had a 32X. And a Genesis. And wage labor. But those thoughts were short-lived, just like my playtime with this game. Okay, here's what you really came to see. Doom for the Game Boy Advance. Wait. That's the music for Nuclear Plant. The next level. Come on, guys, quit screwing up Doom. So, Game Boy Advance. Yeah, it happened. It is important to note that Activision held the publishing rights for the franchise for a while, and you don't make money by just sitting on intellectual properties. It does make sense, though, that Activision would be the gatekeepers of Hell. The game runs surprisingly well considering the hardware. If played on the Game Boy Player, the Pixel Blast is a bit puke-inducing. Otherwise, you're playing Doom, with green blood and all the music jumbled around. The controls are... I didn't commit them to memory. Again, I take issue with the level structure. The 3 episodes are represented, but still with the stream of levels. And all the end episodes are screwed with. Phobos Anomaly has a modified exit, Tower of Babel and Dis have been completely replaced with just difficult levels, eliminated the Cyber Demon and Spider Mastermind. What are we doing here? On top of all this, when you beat it, the end of Inferno text scrolls over the end image of Thy Flesh Consumed, which is just confusing, and ultimately makes it look like Doom Guy killed Daisy. Ow, my ears! I read about this version in Nintendo Power. That's right, another Nintendo Power memory. I'm pretty sure I read the review and thought to myself, if I put Doom in a Game Boy Advance, it would just work, right? You're referencing GoldenEye as a shooter comparison? Come on guys, it's 2001, time to move on. Sorry for tricking everybody. Here's the Doom everyone was waiting for. Doom for the Sega Saturn. Oh, I've played this kind of Doom before. The disc contains Ultimate Doom and Doom 2 compressed into one package, a completely new set of sound effects that persisted into Doom 64, and a music track that is just noises. Literally noises. So you have to hum louder than the TV. I have plenty of buttons with a dedicated strafe. The system is powerful enough to output full screen. That seems to be rare. Having a little bit of trouble with the doors though. It feels like proper Doom, but what the hell is up with this level stream? Doom is not meant to be a contiguous game. Phobos, Deimos, then Hell. On the Sega Saturn, Tower of Babel is included, but shifted forward and acts as the end of Doom, then a few Thy Flesh Consumed levels, Perfect Hatred runs at about a frame a second, some new levels without the Spider Mastermind, then an abridged text scroll shifted backwards from map 11 of Doom 2, and then you begin Doom 2. What a mess. Oh, and the saves are a password system. I do not miss writing those down. Let me explain why I'm bent out of shape on this. One of the challenges of Doom is starting over at the beginning of every episode and climbing back with a weapons and capacity upgrade. That's how id designed them. When laid out in a straight row, you're way overpowered when you enter the intended beginning levels, and in the case of this Doom, imagine starting a new game with Doom 2 and you already have a BFG. Sega Saturn Doom supports the Sega Saturn mouse, this time officially, but it isn't much better of an experience than the Super Nintendo. I've used mice all my life with the computers, and I've never played a game that had me continually drag the character forward. Who thought this would work with a console? When thinking about it, the Sega Saturn wasn't as obscure as I immediately remember. Virtual Cop was a pretty hot item that even I was able to play once. I saw Knights on display at Sears back in the day-o. Buzz, 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 give me day-o, oh, oh. I returned a Sugar Ray CD I borrowed from a friend and asked if he had a stereo or something in his room. He said, no, I just played it through my TV on my Sega Saturn. To give you a time frame, this was the real Sugar Ray. The Sugar Ray that would be blasting during my basketball practice. The Sugar Ray that I would slam the eject button before the Fly song started. All around the world, statues crumble for me. What does that even mean? You know, if you catch Doom in CD mode, you could actually catch a few tracks from the game and something else. 90s Easter eggs were crazy! Alright, Doom for real this time. Doom for the 3DO interactive multiplayer! Now that's what I'm talking about, remixing the classics! The textures look a little more crisp too. Could this be the console version that not only delivers Doom properly, but better? Could that question be any more loaded? 3DO Doom has a major problem. It's not the shrunken screen or a frame rate chugging when you hit a hallway render. These things I'm totally getting used to and expect. It's not the continuous level stream whereby it eliminates Tower of Babel and the giant enemy demon. It's not any of the usual suspects. It's more technical. The 3DO appears to be low on RAM, or at the very least, mismanages it. Mix that with ancient optical media hardware, and you have a witch's brew. So, mid-level, the system will hit a page fault and it has to read the disc. And while reading the disc, Doom does an all-stop. This is a cardinal offense, stopping the non-stop action of Doom. Screw you, 3DO Doom, and the 2 megabytes of RAM you wrote in on. When recalling my past encounters with it, I did know one family that had a 3DO. One time when we couldn't get Super Mario Bros. 2 to run on his beat-up NES, my friend nonchalantly produced a 3DO from the closet. It was one of those bulky Panasonic double-decker models. I had the sweet Slimline. The only game he had was Alone in the Dark. Yeah, the original. One player, and he was gonna play. Half an hour in, I thought, this is incredibly boring. Can we try to get that NES to work again?
It's really weird remembering that, considering the family lived in a double-wide trailer, and considering the 3DO's launch price of $699, giant enemy demon. I don't know, maybe they bought it from a neighbor who had a debt in Girl Scout cookies. Now, with the 3DO in and out of the console race so fast, and being one of the first CD-based systems, I felt the need to look at all its features. Hey, standard video and power. Now that's a big win. Oh, and no need for multi-tap. You could just daisy-chain the controllers together. I also learned that in addition to game discs and music CDs, it could also play karaoke CDs. A lot of the early CD systems could, including our good friend the Sega Saturn. But nobody ever talks about this. Probably because karaoke CDs are not common in the household. I have a karaoke CD. Of course I do. I buy a lot of stupid shit and never throw anything away.
I bought this awesomeness at Walmart when I was 18 because it contained, at the age of 18, my favorite song in the world. I don't even have to look at the words.
Dirty. You ain't here to party. Woo! Ladies, move. Gentlemen, move. Somebody ring the alarm. A fire on the roof. Ring the alarm. Throwing elbows. Shake a little something on the floor. I need that to get me off. Sweating till my clothes come off. You can tell when the music starts to drop. That's when we take it to the parking lot. I bet you somebody's gonna call the cops. Here it goes, here it goes. Whoa, 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 whoa. This is the one with that red man. I came to stop the party. Sweat dripping over my body. Dancing, getting just a little naughty. Wanna get dirty.
I'll cut this short so we can get to the Doom you wanted to see. Doom for the Atari Jaguar! Oh wow, no music. Oh well. Go go Power Rangers! Go go Power Rangers! It's a really odd omission. That's okay because Doom's music was pretty horrid. Okay. I know we've all been rocking out to the first track, but most of Doom's other music is getting across the point. You are doomed. With the exception of maybe E1M9, E3M3, and Facing the Spider, the beat generally doesn't pick up. So slow music to no music? Kind of a lateral move. But this wasn't a size limitation thing because every track is represented in the level interludes. What's the excuse here? Where are we at with the gameplay? Well, the fake 64-bit processing does us a solid. The look and feel of proper Doom is here. Perhaps we should call this Doom 64? Bad attempt at a joke. The controls are back to the operative 3 buttons, but remember how we all laughed at the numbers on the Jaguar controller a la their 5200 era? This is actually perfect for Doom. Want to swap a weapon? Boom, no delay. Oh, guess what? Continuous level stream, modified E1M8, no real bosses. Is anybody surprised at this point? What is further damning? Damning. Jaguar Doom was one of the earliest ports, and many of the following console versions used its template for giving us improper Doom. You are the fertilizer that fed the unholy seed. In other words, you are shit. I'm going to stop playing now because I think the Jaguar is trying to kill me. There must be a short somewhere. The system won't start unless I jiggle the cart. Switching to weapon 3 screws with the picture. And when I put the controller down, my hands stay involuntarily clenched. I nearly escaped a slot machine electrocuting me. Let's do the same here. While I knew at least one family with a 3DO, I didn't know anybody who had a Jaguar, though my brother and I still wanted one. My brother and I didn't have much in common, but we were both the same in that we just wanted to play Doom. My brother carried around that shareware disc like it was the Ark of the Covenant, just looking for an opportunity. One time, we went to a public library and secretly installed it on one of the public computers, but we had to play with the speakers off. My brother actually convinced a Walmart associate to install Doom on a display computer just to see if the disc was okay. I guess what I'm saying is, when you're deprived of playing Doom as a kid, this is the result. You buy an expensive, faulty Jaguar just to compensate. Alright, on to the main attraction. Doom for the Sony PlayStation! Yeah, I've told you I played this kind of Doom before with the Sega Saturn. Different sounds, equal mashup, the soundtrack was recorded in an elevator shaft after throwing a Craftsman toolkit down it, although the PlayStation version was a commercial success. Understand that as a Nintendo fanboy, it is really hard for me to make this next statement. The Sony PlayStation is a decent representation of Doom. Playing it, I really feel the natural flow of Doom gameplay, enough muscle to shoulder the graphical depth, and with plenty of buttons. The 3-year-old hitting pan soundtrack is almost a strategic downgrade, but you take the good with the very bad. If I could remember the story, I would tell it here, but I have no idea how I happened upon a PlayStation and Doom long before I owned either. Of course, you already know I played it because I jacked the main theme for a video I uploaded a while ago. Seriously, what is up with this level stream? We've reached the end of our retro console listing, and I really thought we could find one that had all the episodes separate, all the episode backgrounds, all the enemies, episode in-betweens, and you die at the end of Knee Deep in the Dead! Oh, there was one. The Super Nintendo. Yeah, when you step back, you can see that the Super Nintendo Doom is kind of the idiot savant of shooters. The difficulty selection is an unforgivable anomaly, but I've come to terms with it. You see, there are no cheats in Super Nintendo Doom. Yes, a franchise with legendary cheats. IDDQD, IDKFA, ID Behold, IDC Lev, ID smashing pumpkins into small piles of putrid debris. Oh, I'm sorry, ID Clip. Just nowhere in this version. That means there are no shortcuts. You are a bitch to this game. To play On the Shores of Hell, I had to move out of my comfort zone. So when I opened a door expecting nothing and found a cacodemon, and at the same time a dog started barking at the mailman outside,
I pooped a little.
Dragging my way through Halls of the Damned honestly produced some genuine screams, but it was super rewarding. And eventually, I was drawn back to play Inferno. While levels like Spawning Vats was cut from episode 2, Mount Erebus was included, which is impressively huge. Then Gate to Limbo was a gripping terror. The technical limitations of this 16-bit console actually elevated to a Silent Hill-style psychological experience. I championed the Red Labyrinth to enter Dis. Yes, it had the Spider Mastermind. All these other versions are hacks. Of course, when I shot the Spider Mastermind, the death animation played too fast and the end text swapped narrative perspective halfway through. I did say idiot, savant.
That concludes the consoles from the era of the original Doom. Times have really changed where consoles are a little more respected and ports from PCs are taken a little more serious. Sometimes the PC version is neglected. Looking at you, Batman. Of course, consoles have caught up and could play Doom no trouble. Take, say, the original Xbox. By that generation, you would hope it could play a PC game from 8 years before. And it did. Yes, Doom was on the Xbox.
Doom for the Microsoft Xbox. Doom 3 was ported to the Xbox, and that's another story of GIMP for consoles. On the Collector's Edition disc, one of the bonuses is a helping of Doom and Doom 2. Ah, the first instance of Doom with dual sticks. Perfect match. Despite this being fake 3D and you can't adjust the angle up and down, okay, round peg, square hole, it still works. Alright, gut check. Ah, good. That's how Doom's supposed to work. Oh, that's kind of weird. Why is the background from the first episode in the second episode? And the third? It's a hack! And the beat goes on. Doom 3 BFG Edition I have shown before in PC form, but it was also released on the consoles of the time. So then you have Doom for the Microsoft Xbox 360. And thanks to Bethesda giving its blessing on backwards compatibility, Doom for the Microsoft Xbox One.
And there you have it. A game spanning 5 console generations, and I'm still playing it.
Announced at QuakeCon 2019, while I was making this video,
Doom is on Switch?
Take my money! A few years later, God beamed the instructions into my head, and I learned that if you press F5 during the BIOS startup, it completely bypasses loading Windows and leaves you at the DOS prompt. Turns out, if you don't load Windows 3.1.1 on top of DOS 6.2, it frees up loads of memory, and I could finally play Doom. It was only shareware, but I didn't care where. I was playing Doom. I also learned if you delete a few lines from the auto-execute batch file, you could bypass a lot of stuff, such as your computer's ability to function. Time to break out the boot disk. Not enough memory, stranger.
Kinda doing a Neo Matrix leaning back thing. This is the full auto 16 meg faithful version of the PC original, which means all the same monsters, levels. Don't lie, liars go to hell. Virtual reality point of view slides you smoothly through the haunted chambers and corridors of Doom. Yeah, virtual reality without the goggles. And without it actually being virtual reality. Ooh, multiplayer. Aw, shit! You got pwned! It's deathmatch ready with 2-player link capabilities. But it says... Get ready to toast some demon flesh. Short and sweet. Wait. It's kind of... it's a little... If you just look at it, it's just... It's backwards! Es gibt ein Blutbad in der Hölle. The best Doom yet? What cheese dick publication says it's better than the PC? John Romero?